Hello. There's Bob in the background. He's actually lying on my winter jacket. It's something that my other cat Speckles started, and they seem to think it's very cozy, but it does look like a nice little nest, doesn't it? Anyway, I've actually been thinking about religion and culture a little bit. I've been watching back episodes of Breaking Amish on television. It took me a while to get into the show because I was brought up in a religion where I I don't really want to mention it, but I was I was taught a lot about sinning and don't do this, don't do that, no sex before marriage, this and that, and I felt really horrible about myself. I was brought up into it. We left it when I was 12, and that was another thing. When we left the church, that I felt miserable about myself from what I was taught. I That happened again with my identity. Was Now I can remember at 12, after my dad died at 11. At 12 is when I started puberty. At 12 is when the depression really started for me and lasted for years. Um, it was really hard. The reason why I thought, like, I did think that I was going to hell because I was molested when I was young, between 4 and 6 years old, and I thought, well, I've sinned and I'm dirty and I'm going to hell, and they're telling me that, and I never really came out. Apparently my mom said I said, I don't like this person, I don't want to see this person, I don't want this person coming over, whatever. Um, but I don't remember that. I was so young. But I didn't exactly say what was going on. And I guess it was hard for me to forgive myself for not really being specific. But in a sense, like, I guess, not all kids. Some kids are very specific, but some kids kind of talk in riddles. So I guess, um, if I were to sort of suggest something to parents, if your kid happens to do what I did and not really be specific, ask them why, and try and get them to realize that they're not in trouble for anything. And I don't know, it was just hard. And I had my best friend growing up who was agnostic, so they really had no religion. I thought, well, because my religion is telling me we're the only ones who are going to get into heaven, maybe they'll overlook her because she's my best friend. And that was another horrible thing I felt, to teach someone that we're better than other people just because of beliefs, when I think all our core beliefs, our genuine beliefs, are probably the same, unless we've had, I don't know, something that's really changed our core beliefs. When they have psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists, that sort of thing. Apparently they were born that way. Well, I don't know. There's people that think they are, and people that think something happened to them, either physically, psychologically, something. I haven't been able to figure that out, but I'm really into true crime. I really kind of like the psychology behind why people do what they do. Um, so getting back to Breaking Amish, um, you know, it did, for that reason that I said about my religion, take me a while to get into it. And like I said, because they're showing back episodes, I'm watching it again, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm sort of into it now. And I was going to kind of watch another episode again, and then it came to the part where they're in New York City, and the two girls are going to the modeling agency, and I had to stop that because that has nothing to do with being Amish. But when you've got a skinny girl that is accepted into a modeling agency, but every time they see her, they're like, you have to lose 5 pounds. I can't deal with that. From a history of having anorexia, and I don't remember that I got that from magazines or anything like that. I remember that I was 14 years old, and I was looking down at my legs one day, and I said, "Oh my God, I'm so fat." And I was wearing like a mini skirt, and that's all I remember. And I do remember looking at girly magazines, but I don't remember what I was thinking about that. I just thought it was like inside myself, like, I don't know. But I do remember, not really a friend of mine in high school, but a friend of a friend's. She was a really, really good runner. She like had a scholarship for university in the States, and she actually lost her scholarship because they told her she needed to lose weight. And I thought, wow, that's really commendable. And having that, I guess it's a relatively new thing about um, having plus size models. I told my best friend, I think if I was going to be a model, I'd be a plus size model. Well, I wouldn't be able to be a plus or a model at all, but she told me that probably not. But I said plus size models are healthy looking individuals. A lot of models, I think, must be anorexic or on amphetamines or coke or something. To like, how can you? It's just not right, the way they make them so skinny. And I'm not saying some people are naturally skinny. Some people are, but the majority of people, I don't think are naturally skinny. And I actually get really disturbed when I see even children who are too skinny, because I actually had a relative who was inpatient when she was 10 years old because she had anorexia, and it starts as children and even younger than that. And it's true, like, if kids are picky eaters, if kids, like, why are they doing that? There's, it's sad. Like, I mean, I'm just, I don't think it's right. And knowing what I went through when I was anorexic, and how I felt like I was, in one way you feel numb, your inhibitions are down, in another way you're shaky and you feel like you're going to pass out, and you're just focused on food all the time, like, what am I going to eat for my next meal? And it's not right. I don't think it's right at all. Um it just makes me so sad. But when I was watching the beginning kind of episodes of Breaking Amish, I didn't really realize that they actually used outhouses and had to boil water to get hot water for showers and baths or whatever. I'm like, wow, that's just weird. But and I was talking to my best friend about people in Africa, and they're surprised that this one lady had twins and named one kid Mitt and the other kid Obama. And I mean, in Africa they have big cities. I've been to Africa. Maybe they have more country style living than we do, and they probably don't have a social welfare system. So there could be people who don't really know that much in the city, although maybe they go to internet cafes if they can afford it or whatever. I don't know, because there are those all over the place. But it's really hard to get people who really don't know what's going on in the world, and the States being such a huge influence on the world. I mean, some people being surprised that they'd never heard of those two names. I mean, like I said, this lady could have been from a big city, and they're just like ours. It was pretty funny. Yeah, I have been to 3 countries in Africa. I've been to um, Tanzania and South Africa, as well as Swaziland. And I thought I thought it was kind of sad, actually, when I went to Africa, the way that kids as young as 4 years old are on the side of the road all alone, begging for money, in exchange for a picture of like a little frog on a stick or something like that. And it just made me sad that they have so little money that they don't want their kids to go to school. They want their kids to work for them. And I don't know, it just made me really sad. Like, I've always wanted to go to Africa, but I remember when I was in high school, I mean, no, I was in university, what I wanted to do was, after my first, what I wanted to do was I wanted to be a social worker, an RN, and when those two didn't work out, I wanted to be a cultural anthropologist, but I talked to my prof, and he said probably there's no jobs in that field, and I kind of do realize that I give up too easily. I give up really easily. Like, I'm even afraid to, like, talk. Like, just simple things. Like, this morning I told myself, I'm going to ask my stepdad if he'll take me to Costco, because he goes anyway, because I need some stuff at Costco, and I have a card, and it's just a matter of getting there. And then after, like, an hour or whatever, like, he was coming home after an hour, and by that time I talked myself out of it. And I really have a hard time just verbalizing, just using my words. Like, I know people say it's dangerous, don't keep everything inside, you're going to explode. The the worst I think would happen would be I maybe dissociate. I've done that in the past, but and then when I told you about my loopy experience, like last week, that was kind of stress, and I was kind of funny things, like I didn't tell you about the fact that I went up to press the elevator button, but I'd already done it in my head. So I didn't press it thinking it would actually turn. And that was some delusion. And my worker was there, and she's like, I thought you pressed the button. And I'm like, oh, I did it telepathically, because I don't know, it made sense at the time. And there was just different things like that. But I don't know, it's just hard. And I'm okay now. Like I said, I'm not loopy. I just have no desire to go out and meet people. I just want to stay inside. So I'm just watching TV and hanging with my cats. And I don't know, it's okay for now. I just wish that I would want to go out maybe or do something. And now that I don't have a bus pass, which I was buying a bus pass and not using it, I don't want to go out. It's like even more I don't want to go out. So I don't know. I'm not really that concerned right now, because I just want to be a good person and maybe try and get my confidence up, and just talk about how things are going. And these are public diaries. Maybe other people can relate. I don't know. Probably, right?